Cody
Hey, what's
Alford, thanks for coming on, bro.
what's up, dude? Thanks for having me, man.
So I gotta bust your balls a little bit. I've been doing this for 4 years and some change. By far, you are the most difficult guest that I've had to get on. We're a year plus in the making, so I'm excited.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I apologize.
It'll be worth it, man. You're out Idaho, is that right?
Yeah, man, Idaho.
Okay. How long you
Yeah.
been out there?
This will be, I think this will be year five, for my family. I think this will at least be our fifth winter. Yeah, so year five, I think.
Okay. All right. How's the entrepreneur life? I see you're crushing it in business.
Crushing it is probably a loose term. Uh, Entrepreneurship for me is it's like being in the military, always dreaming of having like that mission, that single mission that you're called upon to do. That's like you hear ghost stories about, right? And then you get the opportunity to go on it, and you're like, oh shit, this is what I asked for. And then remind yourself that you asked for this, and rebuilding your disciplines or finding the disciplines that fit that environment of the operation that you're operating in and not stopping because the mission you chose to accept is bigger than how you feel. And in that regards, I'm crushing it. Everything else, man, I've been building as I go. I haven't come out of the game. Like I have one thing that I just totally love. It's evolving because that would be horrible to have one idea that was this is it for the rest of my life. I can't live that way. So I'm constantly reinventing or re-upgrading the things that I'm doing to find that one thing that I'm just ultimately super stoked on. And I'm getting really close to that. I'm really excited.
Yeah. The internet's funny, man. I think people can maybe come on your page or come on my page and hear how we talk or hear how we may view things. And they'll be like, oh man, Cody, Tyler, they got it all figured out. And it's like, man, I'll be the first to tell you, like, I'm figuring it out just like the next guy. I think my vision might be a little bit more clear than maybe the average Joe, but it's like, we're all figuring it out, man. If you say you got it all figured out, I think you're just bullshitting.
Yeah, my buddy's like, "Oh, dude, you're crushing." I'm like, "Dude, what does crushing it mean? If it means
Yeah.
I haven't killed myself, yes, I'm crushing it. Does it mean that I'm happy? Yes, I'm crushing it. Does it mean that I'm just rolling and like just I do whatever I want to? Sometimes, yes, but there's a price to pay for that, right? There's this balance of like, I don't. Yes, do I want to make fuck you money? Yes, but I'd rather have a. I've worked with so many clients who have fu money that if to coach them, mentor them, and lead them and help them grow, I would be an idiot to not take anything away from them, also, and learn from them and grow from them. And one thing I realized is that a lot of guys, especially really hungry dudes like myself, like you, right? That they have at times built this empire, but their foundation was not strong enough to carry the weight of all these things they're building. Where me, I've been, unbeknownst to me, been building a strong foundation for the past 8 years since I've been on the Marine Corps, 7 years, and but having to remind myself that even though I'm swimming with sharks, right, like I'm not going on all the hunts that are currently going on yet. Like I'm still kind of staying over here because my mission is different. The how I'm choosing to build and lead my life is a little bit different. So in those regards, I feel super crushing. I was just on a podcast a week ago, and I told the guy, I'm like, dude, I haven't been more happier in myself than I have been in the past 90 days. Now, being happy doesn't pay your bills. Being happy doesn't make everything else work great in your life. But being happy for me is this like huge perspective shift where like my eyes see everything different, even though, I still struggle. Dude, yesterday, bro, I was being such a victim. I was like, I was just like, oh my God, man, what am I gonna do? Like I was in this like vortex of like real world shit. And when I was driving home, I was talking to myself. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like, if one of your homies came up to you with what you've been doing all day, what would you tell them? And so I told myself, I'm like, yo, bro, you gotta like watch what you say, even when you're not feeling your best. And then what do we say? Oh, yeah, I know, but. And I was even doing that to myself as I'm like coaching myself. I'm like, I know, but I'm like, there is no but, bro. Like, you're going to do or you're not going to do. You're going to be scared or you're not going to be scared. Like, you're going to do something or not going to do something. And those are still realistic struggles that I face. I just am in tune enough and like have enough, like, I guess, like self awareness to be like, okay, bro, I let you go for about like 8 hours today. That's enough. Like, did you get it out of your system? Okay, let's get back to it. Let's reanalyze what we've been doing, and then figure out what needs to happen to get us to the next step. The next phase. Whatever that case is. And yeah, internet's weird, bro. They look at your life, and I mean, but we see it all the time, right? We see all these like badass, especially men. Like, I don't really hear a lot of chicks that kill themselves. They definitely do, and it's super unfortunate. Uh, it's horrible, actually. But like, there's a lot of these like solid dudes online that are crushing it and killing it, and they got all this shit, and then they end up killing themselves, and their lives fucking get destroyed, and that's horrible. I don't judge people for what they do. Like, who am I to judge them? But it literally demantles like the viewer's reality, because people are always looking for like some type of target to like lead them, or to chase, or to follow, or to kind of show them, or like, man, if Tyler can do this, I can do this. I mean, yes, that's absolutely accurate. If anyone can do anything, you can do it too. There is no limits but the limits you put on yourself. But there's just so much fallacy out there. That's why, like, when I'm feeling like shit, I make sure the first place I go to sometimes is the fuck internet. Like, I'm like, bro, I'm like struggling. I'm fucking struggling right now, and that's okay because it's never going to go away. Just my struggles of today are completely different than they were 5 years ago. Those struggles were like, how do I get out of bed? My struggles now, like, how do I make fucking 100K with this thing? Or how do I make this work? Or how do I, make sure I'm not too busy to build Play-Doh with my son like I did this morning? Like, he wanted to make Play-Doh, so we made Play-Doh, all organic ingredients, and, he wanted to make it with me. And normal me months past have been like, hey, can you just do that with your mom? Or I gotta go, I don't have time. But the truth is, what do I have time for then if I don't have time for my family? And that's really been like my big shift, is like having my family as my anchor to be like, oh, I'm busy. I'm constantly like hustling or marketing myself, or, you know, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I want exposure. I have a fucking message to share. Why wouldn't I want to broadcast that? Like, that's the dumbest thing. You have a gift and you don't want to share it with people. You're just selfish. And hell yeah, I want exposure, but not at the cost of like what I did and sacrificed for many years before, which is my family. Because when I was home, I wasn't home. When I was playing with my kid, I wasn't present with my kid. And, those were the things that irked me the most. No matter what money or opportunities came into my life, they were almost empty because I was sacrificing the people that I love the most. And, doesn't mean that because I'm present with them, I'm not going to travel, but it increases like my value add in my family unit, because when I'm home, I'm home. If my wife needs something, I'm fucking there doing it. But that, unfortunately, that was not always my case.
Has that really shifted over the past 90 days? You mentioned you're just happy as you've been, in a while.
Yeah, it really has, man. I like.
How did that, like, why? How? Just self-talk or just like sitting down and meditating or like why?
No, I realized. So I turned 40 next week, right? And so I think it was like maybe a month ago now, I was in Mexico. So I've been doing psychedelic therapy since 2018 to help with various things in my life. And I got to go back to Mexico with Ambio Life, who I did Ibogaine and 5-MeO DMT with. I did that whole process twice. And so about a month ago, they called me up and said, "Hey, we're doing some like documentary style marketing, to help with the program. Would you be interested?" I'm like, "I'm doing anything for you guys." So I go down there, and it was like this like other realization, but that I had of like, dude, just how anything that I want to create, I can create it. Like, I was able to do the 5-MeO DMT again. It was just like that it was a more punch of a reminder of like, dude, you can literally do anything, and who cares what anyone says. And even though I built a place in my life where I don't care what anyone thinks, I started to care what I thought more. And so that was even more toxic and detrimental than what I thought of the outside world to me. And really realizing that, like, okay, dude, like, you are here to create, so why aren't you creating these things? And I'm like, well, shit, I want a great fucking home life. And prior to that, last November, I went down there and I did the whole program again, and I didn't realize how much I hated myself. And so that realization, that truth came out there. And when I came home from that, it's just been kind of gradually like, fuck, I hated myself, but then I left there with like this love, like I love me, like in this exposure of like this version of me that I had to let go of, but I couldn't let go of something I wasn't unaware of. And I didn't realize how much just like weight I was carrying around, even after years of like really working on myself and really being happy. And I know I said I've been happier the past 90 days, but I think the word I'd rather use instead is proud. I've just been proud of me, like just showing up for my family more, not being too busy for them because that's the shit that matters most. Why else am I doing everything else that I'm doing if my family is like just living their life without me? I've lived a life without me before, and that sucked. I couldn't imagine putting myself in my family's shoes of like living a life with me, but I'm not there. Like that's just that sucks. And I realized how selfish that was of me, and just really trying to implement more presence. Like, you know what? I didn't get what I needed done today. Tight, I'll do it tomorrow. If it was that important, bro, I would have found a way. Clearly, I didn't find a way, or clearly, I put an unrealistic expectation on how long it's going to take. I'll just do it tomorrow if I'm blessed to wake up. But between now and then, I'm fucking with my family. Um, yeah, and just really for me, like taking the load off my wife of like, dude, she does everything, dude. She does the homestead, the homeschooling, the housekeeping, the animal keeping, like she does all this shit. And my wife's only request for years has been like, dude, I just need an hour to myself. And I'm like strategic. I'm like, well, if I get home at this time, you'll have an hour before, it's time for dinner or something, just stupid shit advice. Just make it happen. And just I don't know, just simple things that had not been so simple for me to grasp my life. I've been grasping them and just like running with them. And to me, that's the most important thing because we all want the support from our significant other, but like, what support are you doing to rate or warrant said support? Or love or nourishment or like whatever it is. And I complain for my son's 3.5. I'm like, damn, this he rather hang out with mom than dad. I'm like, that ain't right. I need to fix that. Well, because he's always with mom, and when he used to be with dad, dad was fucking off.
Somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere else inside my head about all the things that I haven't been showing up on, right? And I just got tired of like carrying all that guilt and shame in the old me. So I just said, fuck that guy and started changing it. That's really what it was, changing it. But just like in your life and your growth, right? It's like we know what to do, but sometimes it takes a sequence of events for that, oh shit, to click in. And that's okay. Even though sometimes it can be frustrating, but that's how life works. If it was, hey, here's the answer, everything would be fine, and that would be a boring life. So it's a journey that, I think that it really is, and it's okay if it takes 6 months, 6 years for that one thing to click. Because when it clicks, dude, it's unwavering for you. But between that 6 year period or 6 month period, it's like trial and error to like, okay, will it actually stick this time? Nope, nope, nope. Okay, maybe you make micro adjustments to get to that end state.
You're really in tune with yourself, man. I've been following you a long time, so I'm pretty hip to you and like your self-awareness. You mentioned it 10 minutes ago. Yesterday you had some pretty negative self-talk. I appreciate you sharing that because I was the same fucking way yesterday and I caught myself and then like internally I caught myself and the whole time my wife is like hearing me speak these negatives out. I'm like, "Oh, this guy's not going to show up for this fucking sales call." She's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "No shit, he's not gonna show up. Look how you're talking." She's like, "What's wrong with you today?" I'm like, "Fuck, I don't know." So this morning, she checked me, I checked myself this morning. I had three. I'm like, I'm closing all three of these motherfuckers. Like that's how it's gonna play. So it's just self-awareness, man, and guys can say one thing but do a completely different other thing. It takes work, man. You have to be critical of yourself, and I know that you do that, and you're a constant project, man, and you're not afraid to share that. So a lot of people look up to that. So I appreciate you sharing that, especially on here.
Yeah, man. Like I only feel free when I'm being me. Say to be me is not being perfect. Being me is being progressive towards progress. Like I have a lot of ups and downs. I have a lot of goods, but it doesn't matter. What am I going to do when I feel good? What am I going to do when I feel bad? What am I going to do when I don't know what to do? Because all those things are important. It's not one outweighs the other. Um, Yeah, and self-talk is huge, bro. People don't do that. People are scared of self-talk. And but self-talk is like, I live this life principle where like if I'm on an island all by myself in the pitch black and no one's there, can I find God? Can I find the answers? And then can I lead myself? And to me, the answer is always yes, right? But the question is, will you listen to the responses that you may not want, but will you be open enough to listen to them? Because if no, with all the resources and assets available, you're still going to be on an island by yourself in the pitch black. So it's like pick your poison at this point. What my wife told me years ago, she's like, if whatever you're doing isn't working, do something different. And I realized in my life, what got you here won't get you there. I've also realized in my life, fear, stress, anxiety, depression, that any emotion, they don't go away, right? Just how they show up in your life is different. So in this new phase of life, how all those things appear in my life, they affect me completely different than they did 5 years ago. Where 5 years ago it was detrimental, where I wouldn't even get out of bed, right? Because I didn't have like the foundation strong enough to crawl myself out. Now I have a strong foundation, so it's like really like maintenance and then like exploration of new things that bring value to my life and the value to the people in my life, and that's all I really care about.
I know you're not afraid to talk about this, so I'll ask you. I've talked to tons of Marines and team guys, and you see them, they do their thing, and then they get out, and then they start to just live their life. There's that transition period, and the guys that I choose to talk to are all very successful and have had a good transition for the most part. Why do you think? I know you get a lot of shit, man. Like I know you get a lot of shit. I see it, and I've heard you talk about it. What's the deal with it? Why are guys so upset where it's like, oh, Cody didn't do 20, 25 years in the military. Fuck that guy. Or, Neil, he got out early. He only did 8. Or bam, he did his 4 and then he dipped out and now he's worth hundreds and thousands of millions of dollars. Fuck that guy. Why is that? I
Because
notice you guys eat your own. It's like crazy
yeah,
to me.
super toxic because this is a false brotherhood and it's a shared companionship. So, when I first got out, not first, probably like a year after being out, I'd see some of my friends or guys that I knew in the military that, I was either better than, whatever, or they sucked. And I saw them crushing it. I'm like, man, what the fuck? Fuck that guy, dude. Like, what the hell? Like, I would never like text them or like leave a shitty comment because you have to be a real loser to like do that. You also kind of have to be a loser just to talk shit about other people, period. And so I was a loser, but I wasn't like the ultimate loser of like comments. But I'm over here judging these other guys, and really what I learned from that was like I was just butthurt that they were doing something that I wanted to do, and they weren't scared to go out there and either look stupid and or go do it. And most guys, they want misery loves company. They're like, dude, I'm struggling. Why are you happy? That's fucking stupid. We came from the same place, bro. Like, did you forget? Silent professional. Blah blah blah. Like, everyone's got something to say, but it's the dumbest thing ever. Like, people just are sad inside, and they are probably losers like I was, where they're comparing themselves to me, being like, man, I could do that shit. Well, but you're not. Just like I wasn't doing it 6 years ago. I was doing some, but I wasn't doing all these other exploration things that, some of the cohorts that I knew were doing. And that triggered me. And so I've always told people, and I told myself this before I ever told anybody, that a trigger is an investigation to grow. So if something triggers you, that has nothing to do with the person or the thing that triggered you. It has everything to do with you,
It's a
right?
you
That's like
thing.
you call me. I was born and raised Jewish, right? On my paddle, right there. It's got Star of David. If you call me like some like I don't even anti-Semitic, whatever. I don't care, dude. Like, I'm not gonna be triggered by something you call me because I'm fucking a big boy. And like, if they literally said when you're a kid, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt me. Like, yeah, bro, you're not gonna cast your bullshit spells on me and like affect me. Before it did, right? I remember my very it's like my second or third YouTube video I ever made, and I was trying to like I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to like I just wanted to help people, and I was, trying to be as creative as I could with my mind that I had at the time. And I remember someone commented on something, say like, "This guy's not special operations. Soft guys don't talk like this. He might have been a Marine, but he's fucking stolen valor." And dude, I cried for like 2 weeks. I'm like, I'm just trying to help people, and like, why are people so mean? And then, fast forward, I do the Sean Ryan show of like maybe 3 years ago, and that got a lot of traction and exposure. And people were even meaner on there, dude. Like, there's a whole new level of mean on YouTube, right? There's like different
Well,
level.
those comments don't. Yeah, those comments are fucking for real.
Yeah, because they can put like a whole book, and they're just like hateful. And I had to grow through that. Not go through it. I had to grow through that. And it was like irking me. And I don't take life advice from someone with face tattoos. I'm like, well, people that pay me a fuck ton of money do, So it's like, you're clearly not my client, and that's okay, right? Like, and it was just been this journey of like believing in me, and not comparing myself to anyone else, and always being mindful like what triggers me from other people, because it has nothing to do with them, and just reflecting back on me like, okay, well, what do we need to adjust in our life, or what do you need to finally do that you've been wanting to do for all these years, you never done it because you've been too scared. And that's why I have the technique called the shotgun method, where I have an idea and I just put it out there and I say fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, 2 years ago, I had taught an 8-week youth program for young men ages 11 to 17, 8 weeks all online, dude. It was savage. Who the fuck am I to do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, but I did it, and it was an epic, 8 weeks with these young men. And that's just what I do, bro. I just say it and I go do it, and it can't fail. I only fail if I don't try it, because I have to look at myself in the mirror. And then, that's where I've been looking at right now, in my life, is like, okay, I've been reframing what obstacles are. Obstacles to me now are things that I know I need to be doing that I haven't done them, not something that's in my way, right? Obviously, I know it's me always in my way, but obstacles are that thing that I need to do that I haven't done. And so reframing, like, there are no problems in my life. There's no problems on the battlefield. There's just opportunities to solve something. And the only time you have a problem on the battlefield, or problem in your real world, or problem in your head, is when you choose not to do anything about it. That's the problem, right? Because then you get enveloped by the enemy and you're fucked, right? And you know you have a very small window in a war scenario, where you start getting like enveloped by the enemy, meaning enemy forces begin to like surround you. You have a very small window to make a move. You might not be guaranteed, but you're guaranteed to not make it out if you don't move. And you have a very small window. You have a 50-50 chance of success if you make a decision right now, but it's a very small window. And I'm like, well, dude, I'd be an idiot if I took 15 plus years of, military service, 7 deployments, life loss, horrible traumatic things. I'd be an idiot if I didn't take that information and apply it to my real world. So everything in my head is a tactical environment. I don't always remember that. I have to remind myself that sometimes, but I have to. I try to apply it to where I'm like, okay, dude, you have to move. You got to go now. It's like getting in the cold plunge, bro. If I don't have I set my timer for 3 minutes and like 4 seconds. And if I don't set it that 4 seconds, if I set it for 3 minutes and 30 seconds, I'm giving my time, because I want to like be able to get in the plunge. I'm giving myself too long of a window to talk myself out of the action. And if I go there without a timer and I just say I'm going to go in there until I'm done, that's also not a plan. I would never patrol in Afghanistan without a mission, or a purpose. I'm never going to go into the cold plunge without a mission or a purpose, right? Because I'm increasing my chances for absolute failure success. So I give myself that like 3 to 4 second window to act, because I know I'm going to do it. The question is how long is it going to take me before I go do it? And no one's shooting at me in the civilian world, thank God. But there's people shooting at me in my head 24/7. So I try to limit the amount of like excess space to feel sorry for myself, second guess myself, doubt myself, procrastinate, and just go take action. But take action with a plan. So these are all things that have helped me out in my life. Not made me perfect, but made me extremely more progressive towards progress that I'm looking for in my life.
What are some of those obstacles you're dealing with now?
Oh, dude, I have sat on putting out education and selling it for years, because I'm like, it's not good enough, bro. Like, who the fuck's gonna pay for this? They can go to YouTube, but then I remind myself it's not the information, it's the person it's coming from, right? Like, I tell people, and I have to tell myself, it's not what you do, it's who you are is what attracts people, right? There's 50 other entities that can do what you provide. but there's no one that does and can do what you provide to the people you support and work with. And I'm like, okay, cool. I've done all these other scary things. I'm like, why won't I just go do that? And, I have to remind myself, like, dude, fuck everyone else. No one exists but you. What do you want to create? Like, what do you want to create? And who cares if it's never purchased or used or transforms anyone's lives? Like, you'll never have that opportunity if you don't just go do it. And I also I just reflect myself on my life. So my obstacle is just like the action of the things that I know I want to do, but I haven't done them. And here I am asking for like guidance and like, what's that thing I should be doing? Well, bitch, the thing you should be doing is the thing you've been avoiding all these years. And that's that's really it, dude. So I'm off this call and I'm just filming videos. Like it's like why not? Who cares?
People invest in the person, Cody, not the product.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of people that do what the fuck you do, and there's a hell of a lot of people that do what I do. One of my favorite questions on calls is, why you? Why should I work with you? What makes you different than all the other limp dicks on the internet? Okay, great. I get to talk about myself for 5 minutes. I'll tell you why. So it's the person, man. Because I mean, it's you hit it right on the head where you just need to do it. You need to do it. And the reason that people are so stressed out is because they're putting shit off.
For sure. That doesn't get better with time.
No, you have to
Everything
do the things that you don't want to do. That's why you're fucking stressed. Yep. What we'll kind of stay with the military track here. Big regrets in your career?
man, not investing money. I didn't know anything about money. I didn't know anything about anything. I grew up pretty average, I think. Um, and knowing what I know now, I wish I would have foregoed all my dream motorcycles and hot rods. Uh, to a certain degree, because there was a long time I didn't think I was going to survive some of my deployments. So I'm like, fuck, do I'm gonna live it up. But that is one regret that I do. I wish I would have did it all differently. I wish I would have bought a camper, uh, rented a storage unit, lived in that shit, bought a beater truck, maybe a dream bike, and then just invested everything else. I did not do that. Outside of that, bro, I don't really have regrets in my military service. Like, I don't. If anything would have happened differently in my military career, literally anything, I wouldn't be where I'm at today or who I am today. And so even all the fucked up shit I may have done or things I could have done better, I don't regret any of that stuff. Um, yeah, because I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I wouldn't have the reality and perspective that I have. But the one thing I do regret is not being educated enough to see a bigger future outside of the military, because that wasn't really talked about then. And when you're 18 years old and you're full of piss and vinegar, and in my generation of the military career, it was just straight fucking armed conflict. Um, a bright future didn't really exist for me outside of toting a gun and sacrificing everything that I have, which is totally fine. I'm cool with that. I chose to stay in that world. I loved my job. I loved the men and women I got to work with. Politics were super fucking whack. The military can be super whack, but still, I enjoyed what I got to do. But that would be my one regret, bro. It's just not having a mentor or leader that had a bigger vision for maybe their life or education, that was able to bridge the gap with me, who was naive, narrow minded, and extremely young. Because you got to think about it, dude, military life when you're 18, that was my first freedom. I didn't get my first cell phone until I came back from Fallujah in 2004, right? Before that, when I was a civilian, in high school, I'm using MapQuest and at times getting to borrow my dad's like cell phone, where I like plug in people's numbers for that day. And I didn't really have level of freedom to go explore what I want to do with my life outside of this vision that I had to become a Marine Scout sniper. So that'd be my only regret, dude.
Okay. I'm asking this because I know a lot of people look up to you. I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Do you get nervous? I know you do a lot of public speaking. It's not a small deal to go on the Sean Ryan show or to go on the Real Ones or anything like that. I'm sure shaking in your boots on the Nock Performance podcast right now, but do you get nervous? I mean, there's going to be thousands and sometimes even millions of eyeballs on Cody Alford.
Yeah, I get excited. I remember my first jiu-jitsu competition, my one and only jiu-jitsu competition that I did. I walked into this like gym full of like a shit ton of people, like an auditorium gym, high school gym. And when I walked in there, I'm like, I have two choices. I can be scared and nervous, or I can be excited. Because to me, nervous and excitement are the same feeling. They're just different words that dopamine our brain to give us a chemical reaction of how we feel. And my very first speaking engagement was 1,500 people, bro. And there was like pyrotechnics, techniques, and like big screen with like my intro video that these people made for me. I was like, holy shit, dude! It was like the big leagues, bro. Like a bunch of big
Fucking
speakers.
hype.
Dude, it was gnarly, bro. But I told myself, I'm like, dude, I'd be an idiot if I'm gonna put so much pressure on myself to impact all 1,500 people. That's stupid. All I cared about is impacting one person. And so I take off a lot of stress from myself by just going to be me. If you don't like my shit, you don't like my shit. That's totally fine. And just going to deliver what I know I need to deliver and take out any of the other fluff that we kind of add to ourselves. Um, you want to talk about nervous, bro. I was briefing missions and either training missions, or real world missions since I was 18 years old. And I had so much social anxiety in my military career because like everything else was jacked up in my ecosystem that I was unaware of at the time. But I remember like briefing our general after this like one deployment. It was a really big combat deployment, and a lot of crazy things took place, high level things, White House briefing type of things. And I remember like it's about to be my turn to speak, bro. And like my hands are in my pocket. I'm like pinching the shit out of like my thighs, bro. Like my palms are like sweaty. I had not had that as a civilian, but what I realized is like how insecure I actually was in the military. Where I would walk into rooms with like the most shit on my chest or the most rank, and I still didn't feel like I belonged there. And I belong as a civilian. I feel very because I get to be me. I don't have to worry about like being me and being shunned for being me, which I did half my career. Um, that extra added just toxic stress load is gone. So really, the only thing that's like holding me back in this life is me. And so the nervous, like I said, I don't. I get really excited. You know, I just get excited for the opportunity because I know what God gave me as a gift, and that is not doesn't come easy. And so I can either complain or I can like just like embrace the discomfort and know that it's not about me at this point. If I'm getting this platform, the platform is not for Cody Alford. It's for Cody Alford to share this message, to share this one thing, that one liner, that one sentence, that one story that can help impact someone else's life along the way. And I just really just focus on like that as like that's my mission here. Who cares how I fucking feel? I've been plenty of scared before in life. Did I stop? No. Did I address it? Yes. And now I've learned to address it completely different and I have just better techniques, I would say, how I navigate things.
What was that gift that God gave you?
Bro, God gave me a voice, dude. God gave us all a voice, but people don't want to like use that thing. They're scared of what other people are gonna think about them. I was fucking scared, dude. The Sean Ryan show, I literally texted Sean the day it was supposed to air, and I didn't send it, but I like typed all the text. I'm like, hey man, please don't air this. I almost backed out of it. I was scared. I'm like, maybe I said too much. What if I said things I wasn't supposed to say? What if I said too much? People, like I just all this dumb shit. And thank God I didn't do that because that would have been a disservice for everyone else. But our voice is a powerful thing. Thought is a powerful thing, and being able to combine thought and your voice is a fucking nuclear weapon, dude. And that's why we constantly get people get banned or what do they call it, canceled, right? Like the, look what's in the reality and look what's approved and what's not approved. Right, your voice is not approved because the only voice that's really allowed at the highest level is propaganda, and you and I don't control that. So what you and I have though is resistance, which is our ability to think for ourselves, apply logical, sensible, common sense, and then use our voice to articulate that. And to me, that's like the most savage thing you could do is just use your voice, apply it with your thought, and share what flows through you. Because we're all just if I'm really connected to God, that means I'm a vessel of it. That means it's flowing through me. I'm part of it. And so anytime I hold back what I want to say, is I'm like, hey, bro, please bless me, but I ain't gonna do that for you. Fuck that. Like when it's weighing on my heart, it's got to come out, bro, because if not, it's a disservice. But yet at the same time, it's like, no, please bless me, change my life. Like, who the fuck are you talking to, bro? Because you just shun the thing that's flowing through you to like go for that coaching thing, do that thing, help that person, say hello to this thing, to this person, open that door for that person, right? Like we get these things constantly in our minds. Would you agree? Like constantly comes to you,
all the time.
but you get a choice to answer that call or not. And so my big thing is like, become the one, right? Not only become the one in your bloodline that like addresses things and heals things and grows through things, because you're not just changing your life, you're changing all that DNA inside you that came from your ancestors who either did not have the exposure, the aptitude, or the opportunity that you and I have to educate ourselves, be exposed to literally the world, dude. We want to see the world. All I do is go to my phone or the internet. It's crazy. No one else in the history of history has had that opportunity to do that, to our knowledge. And so we're faced with a lot of things where, yeah, you can change your life, but when you're working on that really hard shadow work, those things, those battles that people don't see, you're doing things for your entire bloodline. So that's one aspect. And the other aspect is like, if you're called for more, of course it's not going to be easy, bro. Like, it's
What?
yeah, it's not
No?
not going to be easy. And if call for more and becoming the one was simply a financial thing, then a shit ton of people around the world will be winning. But that's simply not the case. I've worked with guys who have tens of millions of dollars, and uh, they everything touch turns to gold. They got the family, they got the cars, they got the house, they got the things, right? But they don't have themselves. And when I dive deep into that, I realize that they don't answer that call. They don't talk to that call. It's like they pick and choose. It's more like the call is like a menu. And maybe they're not feeling burgers today, so they're going to go with steak. But the thing is, burgers was still called upon you, right? I'm just using like a fucking food term because I like food. Um, and I know you love Whole Foods. And it's,
You've been studying.
oh yeah. And I've been liking your content recently. You've been putting up. Because it's like zero fluff. I hate the fluff shit. It's so pathetic. It's it's like, dude, that's a character you have to like live with for the rest of your life, and that is the only character I want to live with is the character that I'm building for myself, not the character that I'm portraying. Even if you're genuine about it, because that's fucking stupid. That's not a real person, and you can't help people obtain something in their life by giving them a false reality. Just that's not real.
I laugh, man. It happens so often. I'll get on these calls with these guys all over the country, right? And they might be following me for a little bit. So they think they know me, right? Like they've been watching the stuff. And it's always funny to me because they really don't. Um, but, we'll be talking 5, 10 minutes in. They're like, wow, you're like exactly who you are on a podcast. Or you're exactly who you are on your story. It's like, well, who else am I fucking supposed to be, dude? Like, yeah. Well, how'd you do all this? I'll just be me. Like, dude, it requires so much work to try to be somebody that you're not. I don't know how anybody could ever build a business or try to spread a message trying to, like, I'm going to act just like Cody. I'm not Cody Alford, dude. I'm Tyler Geiger. It's really that fucking simple. And I'm sure you see it too. It's just the fact that it surprises people surprises me. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely, yeah. I was at you're familiar with Shot Show
Oh, yeah.
in Vegas.
Hmm.
This is my second year to go as a civilian. Bless you. And just like, damn, dude, you're like this. You're like the same fucking guy. I'm like, yeah, I am. But what's alarming is like how many other people are you meeting that's not right. They tell you don't meet your heroes for a reason, but that doesn't apply to fucking. I'm not no one's hero. I'm fucking Cody, bro. Like that's my human name. That's who I am. I fucking struggle. I overcome. I grow. I suffer. I do real human shit. But I'm me. I try to not be me before. That was probably like maybe 3 years ago. I was like really diving into like I was leaning really heavy on like the coaching and marketing aspect of it, and I'm like, bro, this is not who I want to be, dude. This is not what Cody Alford's gonna be fucking known for, bro. And I had to step back because even though I was genuine about everything I was doing for people, at the end of the day, the cost that it made me feel, that tax burden, just was not something that interested me. And so I've been finding the strength in my life to like, if it stresses me out, it goes away. People, persons, places, things, it just goes away. Fuck, I was making a decent amount of money with like online coaching at once, and I fucking let that go because it was just stressing me out, bro. Like it was just like it's not for me right now because there's something bigger for me, and I'm never gonna get to something bigger if I keep on holding on to things that are smaller for me and stressing me out. And shit that stresses you out, that's a small thing, bro. You have full control to like let that shit go. And I've done it for so many other things. But sometimes, at least for me, it's like, well, fuck, I got bills to pay. I want to make money because I can't bless people being poor, like little to the internet. I give a lot of money away, especially when I can. And even when I can't, I do that because it's very important to me, and I do it for no other reason other than I feel called to do it. And or anytime I'm blessed with an opportunity to do something, or I'm sponsored by something, I always try to pay them back in some way, shape, or form. And but I'm like, I can't do that if I'm like living in hell inside my mind. Like I can't sustain that. So, you know, I'm like, well fuck. If there's really a plan for me, then doing things that bring me down, doing things that stress me out, probably ain't part of that shit. Because at the end of the day, I have to also put an effort and work to align myself towards that thing that is in place for me. And that thing in place for me isn't going to show up on my doorstep one day. It's going to be a gradual continuation of like letting things go and aligning myself. And to me, that's the real gift is like, oh shit, I'm really proud of myself that I let these things go that I had full control over, but I was scared to do so. Well, yeah, any great thing in your life comes with a very hefty price tag, and it's called discomfort. And so, yeah, just like doing those enough, but doing them enough to remind myself that, like, okay, bro, the proof's in the pudding. Like, discomfort, do the things that make you uncomfortable, but don't do the things that sacrifice you and or make you just feel like, fuck, I don't want to be this guy. And that's okay, man. I've reinvented myself so many times as a civilian. It's been insane, bro. Like 7 characters, bro. I went through like this fucking straight like tree hugging hippie phase, like straight psychedelics everyday phase. Maybe it still happens sometimes. Like I've been through like all these different I was a tattoo apprentice. I was a screen print apprentice. I've just done all these things, and I'm like, man, who do I want to be? Like, oh, that's right. I am me. I just haven't seen that everything that I've done up to this point is me, and it's all part of my journey. So I've just kind of like taken all of them and just like compiled them all together and stopped segmenting my life because, my childhood played a big part into being successful in the military. Being successful in the military played a big part in how I'm able to impact and influence and communicate with other people today. And like all these things were significant chapters of my book. And so but what I did, I partitioned them off and I try to start fresh, wondering why I'm empty, wondering why I feel lost and blank. And looking at all these other phases or chapters is like, man, but there was some really hard negative times with those. Well, fucking good, bro, because those made me who I am today. And just giving myself the eyes to see that of like, holy shit, like I've been looking for this thing, but that thing I've always been looking for is just me. Like being who I want to fucking be because I want to be, getting tattooed because I've been wanting to get blasted my entire life, and not caring what anyone thinks. Starting a apparel brand and getting into like online coaching and consulting with companies and CEOs because I fucking want to, bro, because I can make people better, and not caring that I don't have the degree to do so. What certifications out there that's going to teach me what I've been through in my life? None of them, right? And just jettisoning all the bullshit fluff that I am capable of bringing into my world because it's just not important.
What do you want to be known for?
Man, I want to be known for that fucking guy that fucking believed in himself, dude. Like I believe that if you have a belief and you don't stand for that, you're just a bitch, right? You are like the masses, you are mediocre, you are fucking average as they come. And the problem with belief I've seen in people is that they only find the strength and courage to have the belief when they're in numbers. And to me, that does not fit my equation of can I find God, find the answers and find out who I am on an island by myself in the pitch black. It doesn't make sense to me, right? And so the only way you really have strength in numbers is by being the one that gravitates and or creates those other people who find belief in what they're doing. I don't give a shit what you believe in, dude. Just as long as you believe in it, right? If you believe that blank is blank, then blank is blank to you, but don't be faulting on blank because someone else questioned you and you feel like that's not the answer. Like, you don't have my life, I don't have your life, you don't have my belief system, vice versa. So like, but I believe in my shit, and I've worked really hard to have a belief in myself and what I believe as a higher calling, a higher power, and a belief in what I stand for. But that's really what I got out of the Marine Corps. I had no belief in anything. Didn't know who I was. Cody Alford was my human name, but that's not really who I am as a soul and as like a deeper level of meaning of life. And I didn't know what I stood for. Like, I remember one day, dude, I was getting in trouble because I was like using my voice in the military, and this first sergeant, he's like, yeah, but he's like, but that flag right there. I'm like, fuck that flag, bro. I'll take the thing down and piss on it because I rate that. I'll do whatever the fuck I want to with that. I'm like, I didn't join the Marine Corps for America, bro. I didn't join for 9/11. That wasn't my reason. I joined because I wanted to be a scout sniper because on the Discovery Channel, 50% of people fucking failed. And that looked super hard. And I wanted to go do it. And then I saw Tom Berenger, the movie Sniper, and I'm like, I'm hooked. That's why I joined. When it came to being me, I saw all these, as a civilian, I saw all these people doing all these amazing, great things. But then behind the curtains, you hear like, oh man, they're really struggling, or they're suffering, or now they're dead, or whatever the case is. I'm like, bro, I don't want to live that life. I'm not trying to be a water walker, bro. I'm not trying to make people feel like shit because they're wearing masks. I wore masks too at times, but like I refuse to like not be me. I have to look at myself in the mirror, bro. And for years, I was never proud of myself. I would just talk shit to myself. I was never good enough for myself. And that's not the case anymore. And I'm fucking safeguarding that because it's very important to me. Because I can't serve people if I'm not taking care of myself. If I don't believe in if I don't believe in my own shit, I can't instill that into you. And yeah, I think that's why I've had the ability to impact people the way I've had. It's because I'm just unapologetically myself, and I'm not scared to show that transition or that journey of trying to figure out who I am, because the shit I say today is not the things I said 4 or 5 years ago, right? And which is totally cool, but I'm not scared to. I don't have that mindset. I'm like, I'm gonna wait till everything's perfect and then I'm gonna show the world. That's like the dumbest thing ever. That's the stupidest thing ever, because then you become like 90% of the internet where you're unattainable, right? Oh, it's like, oh, look, I got the Ferrari Lambo. Those are all tight things. I have no interest in those. I'm more of a Porsche guy. But, it's like having all these things, you build this great thing, and then you want to come on the internet and help other people out. Well, dude, all you are is that guy or girl that has all these great things talking to an audience who wants what you have, but has zero clue how you got there. And to me, I think it's so sick to be afforded the opportunity that we are to like, share what we want to share and use social media to like, I don't know, bro, just like reinforce those thoughts that people have in their heads. Like, I wonder if I could. Be like, fuck yeah, you can, dude. Like, let's go. It ain't gonna be pretty. It's gonna suck. And the more you want for yourself, the more you have to become, and the more you become, the fucking harder it is. But that's tight. That opens up a whole new level of the Grand Theft Auto, reality fucking six for everybody, right? Like, there's a whole new game you can play in this world, and I think some people just get so trapped in like this humanoid aspect where like I got bills, I gotta work a job, I got a family, I gotta take care of them, I gotta sacrifice the shit that I want. I just gotta keep on showing up for other people. And then one day I fucking pay enough taxes, I get my dream thing, and then I die. That's a boring ass life to me, and I don't want that. And I saw that so many times when I was a young kid, and I'm like, dude, I'm never being that. That's why every classic I ever had, any dream car or dream bike I ever had, dude, I rode the fucking shit out of it. I took it to the dump, put my motorcycle in there, put my gear in there. I did not care because that's like having like your favorite shirt that you don't wear because you don't want to ruin it. That's a retarded mentality. You know, I don't want to have things in my life that I don't use. I don't want to have skills and callings and beliefs inside that I don't share and use. That's so selfish. And it's if it's known for anyone else, it's selfish for me. It's selfish for that version of me that knows that there's more for me. Not in a tangible aspect per se, but there's more for me as in like, holy fuck, dude, like my life is rad. No matter how many bills I have, no matter, how many times I backed up against the wall, my life is so rad. Like I literally have created a life that I actually enjoy. I get to shoot guns, I get to travel with my friends, I get to go hunting, I get to spend time with my family, like I get to help people out when I can, even when I can't, like that's a pretty rad life. It's way better than a life that I know I'm very capable of choosing, which is one that I regret and will not enjoy.
What's the point of having a Rolex if you're not gonna wear it?
Yeah, that's internet world. This was a gift, and I fucking wear this bitch almost every day. It was a gift. People are like, oh, it must be nice. Yeah, it must be nice to have fucking people that believe in you and value you, and that you provide value in as well, and help them out. Yeah, it is really nice actually. Not because of gifts, but because of like that's who I want to associate myself with. But yeah, I'm not gonna have a Rolex. I'm not gonna wear. That's dumb. That's stupid. I love that life.
Who gifted that to you?
So actually, the team over at Core Medical. So I work for a hormone replacement company called Core Medical Group, and I've been with them now for 8 years. I'm one of their strategic partners, and they just. I tell people, man, it's a family, man. These people have changed my life, personally, like my health, my life, my livelihood, just how I show up for myself. And one day I was actually on the John Bernthal podcast with On the Real Ones. John presented me this gift at the end of the podcast, and he's like, "Hey, man, this is a big thank you for everything you've done for the core and all the things you've done for yourself and people that you love. This is a big thank you." And I was like blown away, dude. I didn't know how to accept a gift, especially a gift in that caliber, and a caliber not because it's a watch, but because of the meaning that was attributed to it. And so it was like, it was pretty impactful. So when I wear this watch, one, I make sure the internet knows, like, yeah, it was a fucking gift, bro. And then two, I just have so much gratitude for to be seen in such a caliber like that, and it's really transformed me in a lot of ways.
What does that watch mean to you?
Man, this watch means to me like, dude, my time is the most important thing that I have, and this watch not only represents time to me, but it represents like value. Not because yes, this watch does have a value attributed to it, but someone saw the value in investing financially into something to gift to me because they see value in me. And bro, there were so many years I didn't see value in myself. I wanted a Rolex for a long time. At first, when I first became an entrepreneur, I'm like, I need a Lambo. Every successful motherfucker has a Lambo, but no matter how hard I tried to like want that thing, it just never. I never believed in it. It wasn't Cody. I have zero desires for a fucking Lambo. I have plenty of desires for a fucking badass Dakar Rally Porsche. Like that's a real thing for me. And I've had this Rolex on like my vision board for years, and uh, they they've known that. And one day they like made it come true because I don't know if you know this, but this watch to me represents a fucking phase of my life called acceptance. Like accepting the fact that you are doing it. Accept the fact that you actually are doing the things that you say you're going to do and that you've been wanting to do because you are doing them. And as an entrepreneur, there's not a lot of milestones you hit where there's acceptance or acknowledgement, because I'd be lying if I said I don't want to be acknowledged. Fuck yeah, I want to be acknowledged. Not with like gifts or rewards, but like, hey, dude, you're doing it, man. Like, congrats, bro. Like, keep on going because no one can be harder on yourself than you. And for years, I'm like, bro, I'm just not doing enough. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not doing enough. But like I said, I had to realize that it's not what I do, it's who I am. Being me has helped more people than me doing this thing. And I just want to help people, bro. I'm here for fucking souls, bro. I'm here for people to like to help them to find that light inside them to realize, bro, you are the one, but will you accept such challenge, right? Everybody wants to be the knight or the king in the movie, but nobody wants to step up and be like and claim that throne because it's hard, or they feel like they don't rate or warrant, or they didn't come from that upbringing, or they made poor life decisions before. I'm like, and if her life was solely based on doing only the right thing, life would be so whack, right? And if life was based off of like, hey, you mess up once, you're damned for life, there would be no purpose of life. So you can choose life to be a life story where you do those things that I mentioned earlier, where you like get the job, pay the bills, fucking pay taxes, and you die one day. Or you know that you still have those things that you're responsible for as being human, but there's a whole nother world inside here where you can become the person that you know you're here to become, even though you might not be able to see it today. But you know, like, man, I really wish I would talk to my wife differently. I wish I could stop talking crap to myself. Man, I really wish I could get in shape. Man, I really wish I could fucking help my friends out and, take them on a badass hunting trip one day. Well, you can do all those things, but the question is who do you have to become to go do those? And do you have the courage, the strength and courage to actually go and do it? And that's really what the whole message of Defy the Norm is. And that's what my whole logo stands for, strength and courage, right? Like strength, the power of the lightning bolt, dude, like that fucking it is nothing but sheer fucking power, right? Like that much energy is just like manifesting itself and like striking. And then the tomahawk courage, bro. Like fighters back in the day would charge like battlefields, dude, with tomahawks. The war party chief would raise the tomahawk signifying we're going into battle. I don't know about you, bro. I never once been like, yep, condition one, my weapon system, check my night vision, like, all right, let's go. I never once was like that. That's complacent. I'm like, holy fuck, I'm focused. Let's do this thing. I'm like, I'm in my schematics of my existence. I'm in my world. I know my mission. I know my task. I know my standard, and I'm gonna go execute. And to be that laser focused and let go of however the conversation at home 5 minutes ago went, to let go of the fact that you didn't get to take that like 15-minute crap like you wanted to. You only got 5 minutes, right? Let go of all these things that really don't matter right now, and you're just focusing on the task at hand, bro. That takes a lot of fucking courage to do, especially when you're charging into the unknown. And to me, that's what people derail themselves. They don't give themselves the opportunity to have that courage. They're looking for things that make them courageous, but the things that make you courageous is action. Not I wasn't born fucking courageous. I wasn't born with strength. I graduated boot camp at 140 pounds, bro, soaking wet. Like now I'm 230 and I'm just handsome as fuck, right? That didn't come naturally. I had to build that for myself. And I had to build these things. So I had to put myself into the fire. And if more people would do that in their own realities, in their own ways, whatever applies to their life, they'd be surprised, man. I was in a Walmart like fuck a month ago, and I stay away from those, but it was convenient at the time. I had to go in there for something very specific, so I go in there and I just looked around and I just saw these people that just they don't fucking believe themselves. Like they don't know that they can change their life. There's some people that will only make blank amount of money every year. There's some people that will only have blank type of relationship. There's some people that will only have blank type of body style or lifestyle. Not because they can't. It's because they don't know if they can change their life. And to me, that's the saddest reality out there. There's people that just don't know that they can change their life. And it might not be a money thing for them, bro. Man, how much money you make does not base whether you're a good person or blessed by God, or that's fucking stupid. That's another fallacy of the internet. But like holding yourself back, unknowing that you can change and grow and evolve, that's the true disservice to life and this gift that we have. Because it's only a short time, and we all say that shit. We all shake our heads like, yeah, it's only a short time. But like, dude, like how many times you fucking wasted your day? I know I have wasted months, if not years. You know, uh, but it's okay because I grew from that. I took from that and I applied it to like, yep, that sucks, does not make me feel good. How can I change it? But it's just like accepting it every day that this is just where I belong. Fuck that, dude. That's nope. I cannot be connected to it, source, God, creator, and be like, yep, I'm just good enough to fucking hate my life and not do anything about it, or hate my situation, not do anything about it. That's like the dumbest thing ever, bro. That makes zero sense.
That same feeling that you get when you walk into a Walmart, I can relate to that 1,000%. I get the exact opposite and you're gonna laugh, but when I walk into a Whole Foods, I get the exact opposite. I was just in there yesterday. I was like, man, these people got it figured out. Everybody's smiling. Everybody looks healthy. You can see it in their eyes. They got shit going on. I don't know what there is to that, but I think it's true because I notice it a lot.
I mean, you are what you consume. If I just listen to shit music, I am going to become that shit person, whether I want to agree with that reality or not. If I eat low quality shit food, I am going to be what I consume. People don't want to agree with that. They're like, Cody, that's all I can afford. What people don't understand about my life and my family is that I never had money when I started, and we still chose to invest into our health. That was the first level up was investing into my hormone therapy. That's why I've been with Core Medical for 8 years, getting my blood work done, getting my hormones optimized as possible with peptides, testosterone therapy, all these other protocols that I need to be balanced and functioning. And then it was investing into a water filtration system. That was my very first, outside of testosterone and hormones, that was my first investment. Then it was a heavy metal detox. That cost to like $130 and lasted my wife and I 6 months. Yes, 3 months because we used one ball at a time because that's all we could afford, right? And then we're like, holy shit, we started to feel better. We started to make different changes. Well, guess what? I wasn't spending $20, $30 a time at Taco Bell anymore. I wasn't fucking going out drinking, spending $200 at night. I started to change my life, and that's where that money started to come from. Not from a tree, not from a new job, but from things I was letting go of my life. I'm like, I don't need 20 pairs of fucking shoes, but I can sell 20 pairs of shoes and make, I don't know, enough money to invest into my next thing, which is, okay, well, let's buy organic produce and higher quality meat. Okay, let's do that. And let's just keep on going down and see what changes. And it's a gradual thing. And that's how I've been able to change my life. But most people don't know how to do that because they're like, well, I don't have money for a gym membership. I don't have money to go to hormones, Cody. I don't have money for a $500 filtration system. I'm like, of course you don't. Yet. No one does. Yet. But what can you do? You can move your fucking fat ass on the floor and do some burpees. You can go walk outside. You can use the things that God gave you. But like we're so prone to find the reasons why we can't. But if you can find one reason why you can, why you should, and why you're worthy of that, you just be surprised, man. My life is a sequence of events, not a it's a chain reaction of events. It's not a I did press the button and everything changed. Living off of a few $1,000s a month and still changing my life. I fucking did it. I'm still doing it. And that's how I know that anyone can do the same thing. But they choose not to, or they just, truthfully, I think the more realistic reason for probably the majority of, especially Americans, is they don't know that they can. You also don't know who you can because not only are you what you consume, you are who you hang out with. And when you're hanging out with toxic ass people that like gossip and talk shit, that are talking about the same dumb shit over and over and over again, bro, you're not growing from that. No one's pushing you or challenging you to that. And if you find yourself in that situation now and you don't have like someone that levels you up or you can expose to, you can create and manifest those people in your life by creating boundaries, getting rid of the fucking trash in your life. Because now what you're doing, what you're telling God, the universe is that like, hey, I want positive people in my life, but who do I have to become to be seen by positive people? Well, you're not going to be seen by positive people by hanging around garbage. If you remove the garbage from your life, it's not like someone's going to flock to you, but you have no idea what that chain reaction can do. You'll find yourself in a coffee shop one day and you'll meet fucking Tom. Tom might change your life just by saying, hey, what's up, bro? Have you ever need help with this? Let me know. Like, but people want certainties and guarantees. And to me, that's life is not business. Life is exploration to the uncharted unknown. You're mapping your map as you creep down the Amazon, right? There is no roadmap where you're going. Unless you want to live just like me, there's a fucking roadmap for that. But you probably don't want to live just like me. You probably want to live with like components like me. You probably want to have like qualities and traits like me. But you don't want to be Cody Alford. My life would crumble fucking the strongest person. Like the thoughts in my head would like just destroy people. Their thoughts in their head would destroy me. That just tells me that we don't really want to be anyone else. We want to find the strength and courage to be ourselves, to be bold enough to step into the unknown, to fuck around and find out, to discover who we're actually here to become, not who we're here to accept.
I think you'd be surprised how many people do want to be like you. And
Yeah.
I think those people, oh no, no disrespect, I think those people are doing themselves a disservice. They need to be them.
Maybe they just don't understand what I want to be like you one day means. Every time I get some young kid that messages me on the internet, like, bro, I want to be like you one day. I'm like, dude, I hope you're better than me, bro. And if you can be like me in certain aspects of your life or do some of the things that I do in my life and it can help you grow, then that's savage, bro. But like, yeah, you're right. You don't want to be like me. But what I will say is this, because I have friends that look like them, bro. I'm just so stoked for you, dude. Like, I love that you're paving the path, and like, I want to be like that one day, because it's true. I want to be like you one day. But when I say I want to be like you one day, it's not I want to be you. Insert that person. I want to be able to take care of people, employ people, bless people, lead people. I want to do the things that you're getting able to do, but in my own unique way. And I think as long as people know that, and I'm sure that's what they mean. Most of us, if you could probably attest to this, most of us don't really have the vocabulary to articulate exactly how we feel or how we want to say things. And so sometimes we say the simplest versions like, I want to be like you, bro. And so I don't take any disrespect to it. I don't think they're really doing anything wrong. But as long as they know that there's probably like a different meaning that they just haven't discovered quite yet to that. But dude, if being like me gets you out of your funk, if being like me, helps you achieve and accomplish things in your life until you discover your own personal journey, then more power to you, bro. Because I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't trying to look up to my mentors and my friends in my life at times and like, dude, I gotta be like them. I gotta have my shit squared away. I gotta have blank, 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 blank. And if you don't have a if you don't have a mentor or someone that's ahead of you in any capacity, mind, body, spirit, it's kind of hard to lead yourself because 9 times out of 10, the negative banter inside your mind will talk you out of literally anything in your life. And so that's why it's very important to surround yourself with positive people. They might not bring the same thing to the table that you do, but it's also a good thing. If I was around a bunch of guys who are just like Cody Alford, that would suck because I can be an asshole and that would really be horrible to be around like 5 other assholes. And so most of my friends that I hang out with, they are opposite of me. We share a lot of commonalities and similarities, but we do not share the same thought process, which is good. That's why we're deadly dynamic because I don't want it to be my way. I have my vision, I have my guidelines, but it's like planning a mission, right? If I was the only guy in my teams to like only I was the only guy that planned the missions, we only did it my way, that would suck because there's way better ways to do it in my business in my teams. And there was way better ideas I never thought of before that I never would have had the opportunity to see if guys weren't afforded the opportunity to plan. And so I can't get to where I want to go by myself, you know? So it's okay to bring in outside perspectives and outside guidance and like, hey, I tried what you've been doing and it's really helped my life. Like, be like me. If you're lethargic, you have zero energy, you're fucking tired of like just feeling like crap, you're just dragging ass every day of your life. There's some days that are good, but there's way more than bad. Be like me. Hell yeah, get your blood work done. Let's see what's going on inside your body, right? Your ecosystem, right? Because that needs to get rectified. Because no matter what you have out here, you're still gonna have the weight and the anchor of being like, fuck, I'm miserable inside here. So that your eyes will never see what's right in front of you. And so hell yeah, be like me. Fucking give it a core medical. Hell yeah, be like me. Go to the gym. Do some fucking burpees, bro. Like move your body. Make love to that thing through motion because it is a vessel that's gonna take you places. Be like me. But do exactly as I do with my goals and my dreams, that's silly, brother and sisters, because you have goals and dreams. So how can you apply things that Tyler are doing, I'm doing that you really like, that you want to be like, but how can you apply that into your unique way? That's why I'm not in competition with nobody, bro. Like anything I do, especially like in the shooting space, I'm not in competition with nobody. There's 10 million other fucking people out there that can do things better than me. But I'm not doing what they're doing. They're not doing what I'm doing. I'm just gonna do what I do and what I enjoy. And if it's fucking gay to me, I'm not doing it. Right? I'm not going to be a robot in my life. I'm going to figure out who I want to be. And if who I am right now isn't serving me anymore, making my life better personally, making my family better, making people around me better, then it's got to go. It's got to change. It doesn't happen overnight sometimes. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Sometimes it takes 39 years. But that's okay because it's a journey and I'm okay for that. And if I lose sight that life's a journey, then I'll just beat myself up that I'm not good enough, that I'm not moving fast enough. What does that even mean? To whose standards? You know what I'm saying? Like society in the world has put all these like unrealistic expectations on ourselves, and it's just keeping so many men and women from becoming who they can become because they lack so much confidence, or the worst thing ever, they lack the voice to just articulate how they feel. Sometimes just saying like, bro, I'm fucking hurting makes you feel better. Sometimes just saying like, fuck man, my life is really hard right now makes you feel better because you gave yourself a voice to identify like, holy shit, the world going on inside my life that nobody knows. Whew, it felt really good to say that. It felt good to say I hated myself. It felt good because I didn't know that that was the case. But when I analyzed everything, well, all that shit makes sense. But it felt so good to face that thing, to release it. You know, it's like, how do you get these opportunities, Cody? I'm like, I fucking ask, bro. Like, I ask. They're like, man, I just open my mouth, bro. It happened all the time in the military. Man, how the fuck did you get that? I'm like, dude, I just raised my hand and asked the question. That's how I got the answer. Because I fucking asked. Because they said, who has a question? And all y'all were too hard asses to raise your hand. So I raised my hand and I asked. Because I didn't know the answer. What an idiot to go into, this particular scenario was I was taking a test. I'm like, how dumb would that be if I literally don't know something that's going to be on the test and they asked me the question of who has a question before we take the test? I would be, what am I going to do? Get pissed when I fail? Because I knew I had a gap that you're willing to plug for me. Maybe not the exact answer, but the exact formula breakdown to solve these types of problems. I was doing this like really high speed Jason Bourne's course, and this particular task was like super hard, but it was all like math because it was like diodes and resistors, and we're like installing cameras and doing 120, 220 voltage, and like it's all formulas and programming like nerd equipment. And I was like, bro, this is not my wheelhouse. I have a shit ton of questions, and then you realize like how many people just had the same question you had. They just didn't have the strength or courage to raise their fucking hands. Why? Because people don't want to be judged, dude. People don't want to look like they don't know what's going on. You're a liability. You're not an asset. You're a fucking liability. Is any questions? Nope. Then you go out on the objective. You're like, fuck, what do I do? I'm like, bitch, I just literally asked everybody, like, you have any questions? You bullface told me no. Well, I didn't want to like hold up the team. I didn't like want to like, no. You didn't care about holding up the team. You cared about looking fucking stupid. Now you look really fucking dumb. And you made us all look dumb because you chose to be selfish, not put your oxygen mask on first, and you jeopardized the whole fucking team, right? Like that's what we do when we hold ourselves back. You're selfish, and that's okay. And if you don't want to be selfish anymore, what do you got to do differently to not be that? It's okay to fuck up, dude. Like it's okay to be a piece of shit. It's okay to like suck. It's okay to be fat. It's okay to be like fucking poor. It's okay to be whatever it is that you don't like being. It's totally okay. But the question is, once you realize what you're actually doing and you want to change, what are you going to do about it? Because that's where the real test of a man or woman comes into play. Not that these things, you only know what you know. But when you catch wind of something different or bigger or better and you don't do something about it, yeah, now being fat is really just showing your character. You know, now being poor, like mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally, it's just really showing your character that you want change, but you don't really want to change. And there's a big difference. But most people, before they come to that realization, they just don't know any different, which is totally fine, bro. Totally okay. And I don't think people give themselves that credit to be like, holy shit, it's been okay that I haven't been such a good man or husband or father all these years. It's not an excuse. But if you didn't know that you can change, why would you do anything differently? That logically, that doesn't make any sense. But the moment you know that there's a different way to do it, now that's where like, okay, bro, like listen, you got not a pass because you hurt a lot of people along the way, Cody. But now that you know you can do something different, you're just kind of being a turd by not doing something different. Now that's a solely you thing. You have full control of that vessel. And I think everything is good. I think we just put so much unrealistic stress and expectations on our existence and our life and what's expected of us that keeps us just choosing hell over reality where you can literally create anything. Good days within a bad environment, you can create it all, you know?
I do know. Kind of full circle here, man, to the beginning where it's like, if Tyler can do this, you can do this. If Cody can do this, you can do this. And all of that's true. But you just said, how did you get all these opportunities? I just fucking raised my hand and I asked, right? Like, I know that people that have been following me for a long time and even friends and shit, I've had an opportunity to talk to a lot of really cool people, this episode being fucking one of them, dude. I think you're fantastic. How'd you get Cody? I fucking asked him. I asked him. Did I ask him a lot more than the normal guest? Fuck yeah, I did.
No, no,
But I didn't care if.
let's be real.
What's up?
You ask, bro, because I get asked a lot of time, but like people talk to me like I'm a fucking robot, and they'll send me like a copy paste request. You humanized yourself with your engagement with me all these times. Like I wanted to be on your stuff, and I was more pissed off that I had to either cancel numerous times or couldn't make it. Like I was pissed about that. And then I said, literally last week, bro, I'm like, dude, screw this, dude. Like I'm getting on this guy's podcast. Like we're locking it in, dude. Like we're doing it. I've told him that shit before, and it fell through. And I'm like, I'm not doing that to myself or him again. And but like I'm not doing you a favor, bro. Like I genuinely want to like have a conversation with you. I wanted to ever since it was the gap was bridged, literally like a year ago. But that's what
Yeah.
makes you different. You're a real person, and you treat me like a real person. When people treat me as like a fucking like a catalyst for something for them, like I'm not your puppet, dude. Like it ain't gonna happen in my life. Not on my watch.
Yeah.
You
And
never
like,
you
I,
never
I
made me
think,
feel that.
yeah, I think I told you, dude, I don't want fucking anything from you. And I genuinely tell that to everybody. I don't want shit from you apart from your time. And I just know how important that is for somebody to come on here, talk shop basically with a stranger, spit game. I think you're extremely intelligent. Selfishly, I wanted to learn from you. And dude, I'm never gonna put anybody. I don't care if it's JD Vance, Trump, whoever the fuck I talk to next. They're Cody, you put your pants on just like I do. You do. You're a
You
man
put your
just like
pants
I
on,
am.
jumping off your couch into your pants on the floor, because that's how I did this morning. So hats off to you, bro. Hats off to you.
Um, Man, I want to be respectful of your time, brother. I told you I would be, so I'm gonna
We
hold
got, we
up
got
to
like
that.
we got some like 15 more minutes. If you got anything you think your audience could benefit from.
Let's turn the tables. Ask me a question.
So what I got from you just by this human interaction is like this level of confidence in yourself. What have you had to do for you to have this confidence, like people have told you before that you display on the internet that you do behind the scenes? What was that shift or that reality check for yourself to become that person who I'm seeing today?
I'm very sure of myself, man. I didn't really have an option growing up. I'm an only child, so I didn't really have anybody to look up to and guide me. So I've always just kind of had to figure it out on my own. It's funny that you asked me this question because my wife and I were kind of just talking about it last night, actually, where I've done some things. I was a cop for 5 years. I've been in some pretty fucking dicey situations, but I've been in front of a lot of people. I've been on camera a lot where, you have to testify in federal court on a murder case. Like, that's a big fucking deal when somebody's basically trying to do an I gotcha and catch you slipping. So I've been on camera. I've been talking to people, hundreds of people, if not thousands of people at once. And like you, I get excited. It's a little bit of nervousness, but it's more excitement than anything. And I always used to tell myself, it's like, man, remember when you used to have to get up in school and you had to give a presentation or whatever on fucking Theodore Roosevelt or whatever? 20 minutes, send it. Bro, I know how I was when I was in the classroom. I'm not paying attention to that motherfucker at the front of the room. I'm not. I wasn't listening. So that's kind of how I've gone through the whole thing with social media, or if I'm interviewing somebody on a pod, or maybe I meet somebody on the street. They might like it, they might not, but I'm confident in who I am. And if they do choose to listen, great. Maybe we'll become friends. And if not, I know that I was true to me. So I'm very comfortable in my own skin, man. As long as I have like a couple goals in life, I just want to make my wife proud. I want to make my son proud, who's 13 days fucking old right now.
Oh, congrats.
And thank you, brother. And I want to make my old man proud. If I can do those three things, you don't gotta like me. You don't gotta listen. You're gonna see it regardless. I'm gonna be in front of your face. You don't have to like it though. You don't have to listen. You don't have to follow it, like it, whatever. But um, it's so easy to say, like you and I. It's like fuck everybody. Just be yourself. I don't care what anybody thinks. I think that you and I genuinely both feel that way. I truly mean that when I say I don't care what anybody thinks about me. I really don't. I welcome all the crazy comments that I get. I know you do too. Now at least, right? There's a kind of a learning curve there where we have to
Yeah.
not let that destroy us and kind of figure out who we really are. But at the end of the day, you're just true to yourself. I'm true to me. So that's kind of where it's come from, man. It's just figuring it out, making mistakes, but knowing exactly who Tyler Geiger is, and I think Cody knows who Cody is as well.
Yeah, man. And it's a journey. You know, like I said, I turn 40 next week, bro. And 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I did care. Even though I didn't care as much as I did before, but I still cared enough to still hold myself back in some ways. And, even now when you ask me, like, what are my obstacles, I've realized, oh, okay, holy shit. You care that it's not going to be good enough. Like, I don't care that you don't think it's good. I actually the one that's caring too much, but how will I ever get any feedback on the quality of it to improve it if I don't put it out there? And I'm a creator, bro. I'm an artist. That's what I do. I just create shit. And so by me not doing that is reinforcing the fact that, oh, I'm not good enough. It's not going to work. It can't work. Like, or what if it doesn't work? What if it does work? Like, I'm just reinforcing these negative things because I'm not taking action on what I actually say I want. And so, yeah, it's sick. Well, one more question for you. Why is it that you do what it is that you do?
Question. Going back to your reasonings to join the military. Those aren't very common reasons to join the military. Hey, I saw this movie. Hey, this looked badass. I wanted to do this. Right? That gets kind of frowned upon where it's like, no, I wanted to serve my country is the answer that everybody's expecting you to say. At the end of the day, you didn't really give a fuck about that. When I used to get asked, why'd you want to be a cop? I didn't want to serve my community. I thought I'd be fucking good at it, dude. I thought it'd be a sick job and I thought I'd be good at it. Same reason that I do what I do now. I do enjoy helping people, but not in that space, the law enforcement space. I want people to lead a better life. I want people to take their health seriously just like you do. I've been doing this shit for a very fucking long time. What good is it if I have all of this information if I don't share it with the world? I think I'm doing everybody, including myself and my family, a disservice. So that's really why I do what I do. I get so much joy and fulfillment from talking to somebody that I have no idea who they are, and then 6 months down the road, 12 months down the road, remembering why they came here with said goals and then watching them achieve those goals over time. It's like I'm going to give you the blueprint, but you're going to have to do the work in watching them reach those fucking goals. In knowing that I played a little small piece in that. That fills my cup, dude. Like, I don't work. I build. I'm not working right now. I'm building. I'm going to go home and do a couple other things. I'm work on my business, but I'm not working. I'm building it. I love every minute of every day. Like, when I wake up, I'm like, fuck yeah, another day. Let's go.
Right.
It excites me. So that's why I do what I do. I love it. And I get extreme, not validation, but just fulfillment from watching, especially young men. I love coaching these guys in their early 20s because a lot of them are fearless, man. Like, they'll take a chance, they'll cut a check, and they'll trust in me. And that, I take that very, very seriously. I do. And to be able to play a piece in their life and serve as that mentor, really excites me and just makes me feel happy because I didn't really have that growing up. I had to figure all this shit out on my own.
Yeah, for sure. Dope, dude. Savage. Well, I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing, and I've really enjoyed our conversation. I did talk a lot. I enjoyed hearing you speak 30 seconds of this hour and a half. So that's been great.
That's what it's supposed to be about, man. It's supposed to be about you. It ain't got nothing to do with me. It's got everything to do with you guys. So, um, this went even better than I thought I knew it would be. Fire, man. You're fucking awesome on here. I really appreciate you. By the off chance, if people aren't familiar with you and your stuff, can you please plug where they can find you and We Defy the Norm and all that stuff and maybe other pods you've been on?
Yeah, absolutely. If you'd like to know, I guess like my background, not in a nutshell, but in like a um epic proportion of 6.5 hours. There's a episode called episode 34 on the Sean Ryan Show with Sean Ryan and Cody Alford. Um, that's probably what I'm most known for publicly. Um, and then WeDefyTheNorm.com is my website. Everything's about being bold enough to lead the life that you're here to live. And if you want to follow me on social media, that's at the Cody Alford on Instagram. Same thing on Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter. And yeah, bro, YouTube is all the same thing. Everything is the Cody Alford, and I just love creating content. I love helping people out, man. I just love watching people transform their life. It's like the sickest gift ever to be able to have the opportunity to witness those things. And yeah, I'm not stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, I know you're not. Me neither. I appreciate you doing this, man. It was a huge honor.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Thank you for not giving up on me, even though you had full right to do so.
No, you know it, dude. When you want something, you just fucking go until you get it, right?
Yeah, and I actually hunted you this time, so
Stay on the line, man. I'm gonna get your file uploaded and I'll let you slide. Appreciate you.